Every life tells a story. Join Frank Julian as he shares his one chapter at a time from Story of a Soul 2, releasing every Wednesday.
The Story of a Soul 2 by Frank Julian with Sean O'Neill, narrated by Frank Julian. Chapter 15, Blooming in My Family. Things began to change at Melodyland. They found out that I was a nurse and had me change my master's degree program to social work instead of divinity, and I let them. For many years I felt that it was a mistake, but God would redeem it and work it out for good. I began to be unhappy and finally sensed that I was to return home after one semester. Peggy and my mother were happy. I was too. I remember thinking I'd rather be a nurse than a social worker. Before I returned to Michigan, I had an encounter with a student in my class that I will never forget. His name was John. I only had 1.5 weeks left, and we were at class. The Holy Spirit prompted me to invite John over that evening to pray for him, and he came. We talked, but then I said, let's go to the park down the block to pray. When we got there, I was bold and said, I believe there's something about homosexuality that I need to pray with you about. Then I started to tremble all over, and I told him I had to pray this demon off of me and that he would have to help me. He prayed with me, and this thing crawled off of me. I said, what the heck is going on in your life? He proceeded to tell me that a male professor at the school took him to play tennis and tried to seduce him. He felt that he couldn't tell anybody, not even our counselor. I said, oh, yes, you can, and I will go with you. That thing was brought to light, and he was free. My plane ride home was special. I was flying into Grand Rapids to be with Peggy and to go to the prayer meeting at St. Stephen's. Mike, the guy who told me about Melodyland, was flying home too. It was December, and soon the holiday season would arrive. He and I talked for 4 hours, and his passionate single-mindedness helped me to see things as I ventured out in my new life. God puts people in our life at very strategic times. Mike was one of those people for me. Coming home for Christmas was great, and I was welcomed enthusiastically. Peggy and I got engaged, but there were warning signs ahead. My mother-in-law had been attacked by a neighbor over the fact that we had brought her son to the prayer meeting. He loved it, was prayed over, and became a Christian. His mother threatened to come over and beat me up. We took it in stride, but Peggy's mother did not. On a night that I thought would be filled with joy, our engagement night, I wrote in my journal, I cried all the way home. Peggy's mother and her twin were not happy. There are always spiritual reasons, but we felt the pain in the natural. For years, I had to live with their disdain. I grew to understand twin envy and favorite child separation anxiety. I tried to maintain a Christian, loving attitude, but on occasion I'd fail miserably. I do know one thing. I grew spiritually. I was used to everyone loving me. I was legally bound to them, of course, and could not escape. I had to grow and pray a lot. Maturing hurts when you have to live it out. Peggy was my rock. She, of course, loved her family and was right in the middle of all this. Divorce was not an option. We all had to learn and grow. The most painful times were the long days that we spent together on holidays. As my children grew, they knew of the emotional pain I felt, and we developed a signal when I felt particularly attacked. They would come by me and say, how are you doing? If I said the word love alert, that meant stay close, I need you. They did stay close each and every time. It would not be a complete telling of my story if you weren't able to see the struggles I went through. This particular love alert lasted for years. All I would say to the Lord in prayer is, please take all bitterness from me. And I sowed these small acts of love so that when my children married, I would love the new in-laws. I am here to tell you God proved himself true. My daughter-in-law Libby and my son-in-law Dustin are gifts from heaven. Every pain I suffered has been turned into a 100-fold blessing. In the last 5 years of my mother-in-law's life, our relationship was much improved. The day before she died, she called me on alone to her bedside and asked for forgiveness.
Thank you for listening. Join Frank Julian every Wednesday for a new chapter of Story of a Soul 2. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.